This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
President James K. Polk shared these views and fully appreciated New Mexico's strategic importance in the growing American empire. When delivering the State of the Union address in December 1848, he specifically mentioned the newly acquired Southwest as a place that might one day become profitable for agriculture and mining. Its immediate national significance, however, trumped all future possibilities. From its position, Polk declared, it is the intermediate and connecting territory between our settlements and our possessions in Texas and those on the Pacific coast. To assure American hegemony over California's gold fields and ocean ports, Polk asked Congress to establish a territorial government for New Mexico, urging lawmakers to set aside sectional differences for the country's greater good. In making these remarks, the nation's most powerful expansionist endorsed New Mexico as a critical possession and added impetus for its political incorporation and infrastructural development. In fact, the president mentioned New Mexico quite frequently over the course of his 4-year term, cementing the region's position at the forefront of national growth. Referring to the Mexican cession generally and to sparsely settled New Mexico specifically, Polk said that the monetary worth of the land was inconsequential compared to its geographic importance, and he stressed that, in line with the Monroe Doctrine, no European power should ever again claim jurisdiction over it. These two factors alone constituted an immense value to the United States as a burgeoning hemispheric superpower, and justified any troubles and expenses that the government might incur in retaining sovereignty over the area. Although none of the cities on our coast of California may ever rival the city of New York in wealth, population, and business, the president prophesied, large municipalities would nonetheless rise around Pacific harbors and stimulate the American economy, provided that reliable routes of commerce could be established and maintained. Secretary of State James Buchanan echoed the president's sentiments when he wrote that California formed an integral part of this great and glorious republic, so much so that the government would remain fully dedicated to its development. James D. B. DeBow, editor of a pro-slavery magazine in the South, wrote in 1856 that the growth of California constitutes one of the most remarkable chapters in the history of America. The dollar value of customs receipts at the port of San Francisco had skyrocketed by a factor of 8 since the gold rush began in 1849. Only New York, Philadelphia, and New Orleans exported more goods annually than San Francisco, which had grown from a small seaside town to a bustling center of global commerce in just 7 years. Farther south, Los Angeles and San Diego offered additional enticements for economic expansion. At one point, DeBow estimated that Western commerce would yield an astronomical $350 million in wealth each year. Fearful that European interests might gain a foothold on the Pacific coast, financiers and politicians in the South and North alike clamored for exclusive access to and control of this lucrative new market. Between the eastern United States and California, however, lay New Mexico, which thus bore strategic significance for the country's ambitious imperial agenda. Polk and other expansionists wanted California, but to retain possession of it and realize its full economic and geopolitical potential, they needed New Mexico as a connecting thoroughfare in their nation-building project. After 1845, this perceived need held especially true for Southerners, among whom Polk, a native of Tennessee, could be counted, because New Mexico linked slaveholding Texas to coastal California. For the following 2 decades, the political implications of the territory's existence and the daily lives of the people living there would be firmly grounded in notions of manifest destiny, American imperialism, and the sectionalism surrounding slavery debates. None of this is meant to diminish the significance of places such as California, Oregon, or Utah in the broader context of westward expansion. Rather, I argue that New Mexico, primarily because of its geographic location, was much more important to 19th century U.S. expansion and the evolving sectional crisis than historians have previously appreciated.